Oh God.
So we started. We
Wait,
start.
I have
What?
to do
Did something go wrong already?
No, I just have to click. Got it.
No, the button popped out.
Oh,
Got it. Okay. Well, welcome back to Embodiment, Who You Are Behind Closed Doors. Today we have one of my longtime best friends, Mr. Hudson Campbell, with us.
Hello, everybody.
Do you want to give us a brief introduction into who you are and why people might want to sit here and listen to this episode?
Yeah, of course.
See you talk.
I mean, I don't know if you will want to sit here and listen to me talk for an hour, but yeah, my name is Hudson. I'm from out here in BC. I've known you, Ashley, for...
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver right now. Well, near Vancouver. So that's how we get to do this.
Yeah, it's nice. We got the mountains over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've known Ashley for years, almost a decade now, actually, which is wild.
A decade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And yeah, so when I met Ashley, we were in high school.
Yeah.
And I was very into cooking.
Yeah.
Ashley knows. So in high school, I was a competitor on Chopped Canada at the age of 14, which was a super cool experience.
Yeah.
And that obviously opened a lot of doors for me. So from there, I went on to kind of work in restaurants, and I did kind of some golf courses and did that circuit for a few years. Then COVID hit. All of a sudden, we know what happened to the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
And I started getting pretty involved. I had always been involved in politics and kind of been interested in my community and what was going on around me. But over COVID, we were stuck at home with pretty much nothing else to watch but Netflix and the news. So I got quite a bit more involved in politics and in my local community and kind of what was going on. And I kind of realized that there were some things that I wanted to change, and that people, especially people in power, were not willing to listen to young people specifically, especially the students. They loved the idea of it and they loved to say that they did, but when it came down to the budget and the money, they weren't willing to put their money where their mouth is. So in October of 2022, I ran for public office out here in BC. We had our municipal elections. So I ran for school board trustee out in Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows, where I won, which is awesome. So thank you to the city of Pitt Meadows for electing me. And so I was elected at the age of 21, which made me the youngest politician or elected official in all of BC, which is super cool. There's only under 10 of us under the age of 30 right now elected in this whole province. So it's a pretty cool position to be kind of one of few of us being able to represent quite a huge constituency. I mean, for the first time in Canada, Gen Z and millennials make up a bigger voting bloc than boomers and Gen X does. So it's an exciting time, but that's obviously not reflected when we look at our elected representatives. So it was a super cool opportunity. I took it and my community got behind me, and now I'm a year and a half almost into that, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, and he's always been pretty involved in the community when it comes to whether it being events going on around or like friends. Like he's always been very well versed in being around people and talking to people and bringing people together. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I love being around people, and I love community. Like I love that sense of community. And even like during our childhood, I was always in competitive martial arts, Taekwondo. And that was a huge sense of community. Maybe not anymore, but 14-year-old me, yeah, I could have taken you.
You know what? 9-year-old me would have been able to relate to you on that, because I used to do like Taekwondo. So
me too.
Oh, was it Taekwondo? Okay, there we go. So we gotta do the same thing. But like
the friend that we had met through her mom, I had grown up with her, and so did you.
Yeah.
But like we just never really crossed paths until high school. But her mom owned a Taekwondo studio, so
no way.
He used to work for her and help
free
her.
ass whoopings.
Yeah.
And what's kind of funny about it on the topic of entrepreneurship is that one of the guys that I was training with, Nick White, shout out Nick.
Yeah.
We trained side by side, and he's our age, 22, and he actually bought the Taekwondo school the same month that I ran for office and got elected to school board trustee.
Yeah.
So he became one of the youngest business owners in our community, while I became the youngest elected official, kind of all within a month of each other, which was just super cool. I still can't believe that he's a martial arts school owner at the age of 22.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He told me that at dinner the other day, and I was like,
yeah.
It kind of like, I flipped a switch in me. I was like, holy shit.
Right? Like he has 80 kids coming to him every week for martial arts like I don't know,
just teaching them how to kick butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Defend yourself, right? Defend your territory. I remember the first time or Ashley introduced me to you was, I think it was after you got elected, like a year ago, and she was on her phone. We were together, and she looks at her phone, and I think you posted something on Instagram, and she was like, "Oh my God, my friend Hudson just won the election." I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Oh my God, how old is he?" And she was like, 21. Like, she was telling me, and I literally remember like sitting there, and I was just shocked because I was like, a 21-year-old like won. Like, that's crazy. First of all, that's crazy. That's a crazy accomplishment. But like, it also says something about your character, because to get elected at the age of 21, you have to be at a certain maturity level, but also knowledge and skill level to be able to have people trust you with that role. So it says something about your character in that sense. And I want to highlight that because, like, people listening right now, anything is possible, right? And I mean, I don't know what your expectations were in terms of where you started originally and then how you ended up now, but like...
Well, there's no way when you were running What the Fort Catering that you had pictured in your head, okay, at 21, I'm going to be an elected official in BC. Like, there was, so it shows you how fast, like, even just talking about adversity, how fast that you can flip a switch, like with COVID, with a big pandemic coming around. And he took that and he looked at what he could do versus just sitting and like maybe moping around or just trying to pass the time. Like, you actually took action versus just letting it happen to you.
Yeah. No, thank you both. And I do, it was, thank you. And no, this is not at all where I thought I would be back in 2018 when I was doing What the Fort Catering at all. especially just because looking around at all the politicians I had seen my whole life, nobody, like, not to say nobody looked like me because I'm like a white middle class man, and like that is what most politicians look like. But most politicians also are not 21 years old, and like there was a disconnect there. And not that I didn't realize it was possible, but I didn't realize honestly how easy it was. Not that it was easy, like it was a challenge, but how accessible it is. Anyone can do it. Any of us can run for office if you want to, really. You don't need a party backing you or these huge fundraising pots or anything.
And that kind of something that we talk about all the time in Mano is like the lid on the jar, right? If you don't think that you can do that, then obviously you're not going to go and like search out to figure out how to do it, right? So like, even me, I don't think I've ever thought, maybe I want to become a politician. So I've never really thought about how accessible it would be. But as soon as you like take that lid off and you're like, okay, this is something I want to look at, then you realize that maybe there's more resources than you maybe thought before that you could actually use in order to get there. No,
exactly. And I think it's also about surrounding yourself with the right people. I mean, like everything in life, but especially like, it's just surrounding yourself with the right people that are going to lift you up and not knock you down, and that are going to like believe in you when you tell yourself that you're going to hit these goals, and not kind of laugh it off or like, okay, we'll see. You know what I mean? You want people that are going to walk you up.
Did you experience that at all throughout it?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean,
especially with politics, because that's a big thing that like I wouldn't say everyone at our age is well versed in politics. Like me particularly, I'm not only with like specific topics, but that is a nail that if you hit it wrong for some people, then
it is. And it's actually funny that you say that you are not very like politically astute or whatever, because I would actually disagree. In my experience, most young people are way more knowledgeable and like informed on political things, but they underestimate it. Where when I talk with some of my senior colleagues and some of the older people, they think they know everything, but they really don't. They're referencing data and things that are 15, 20 years old at this point. You know what I mean? And we have more up-to-date information.
Kind of getting fed all the time. I just kind of meant that in the sense of when it comes to like parties and everything like that, I don't pay too much attention to that. Like, I know in my head kind of what would feed what I'm doing in my life better. But I also have my own personal, I'd say, political values that kind of are segregated from that. So like that, obviously, like when it comes to situations happening in the world or just like even like you running for office, like of course I'm going to show up and support you, right? Like that's amazing for you. But when it comes to where I want to go in life and stuff like that, I haven't really paid attention to politics in that sense. So I can't speak on stuff like that.
But you also like don't have to. Like it's not your job. Like my job is to pay attention to these things. Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
But
people, friends, have you experienced people that were close to you throughout your journey to get to where you are that have kind of diverged away based on, have you faced any adversity in that sense?
Yeah, I would say for sure some of my like friendships have suffered, especially my schedule. I live a very different life than the average 22-year-old does. Like I am in school board meetings often. I am going to these public events. I am doing media interviews. Like not to say that other people are not living the same life, but it's kind of a different schedule. Yeah. And that just doesn't align with other people's schedules. And like, that's fine. It's not like I've lost any friends or had anyone, like nobody's disagreed with my politics and been like, oh, we're done or anything like that. It's more just life. You kind of enter a new stage of life. And like any job, you meet so many new people. And for me, I'm meeting so many new people that are nowhere near our age at all, which doesn't really matter, but it kind of does at the same time.
You end up giving more time to certain things. And hanging around those people a lot more because you're put in spaces with them.
And when you're like when you spend all day talking with my colleague who's a mother of two, it can be hard to then go and switch to talk to your 21-year-old friend about their like hookups the night before.
Like states, basically.
Totally. It's almost like a totally not a different person. That's not the right choice of words, but like
world
different, like mindset that I'm coming at it from. Which is interesting for sure. But that's one thing that I have tried to be really conscious not to do in politics very much is kind of switch on and off and try to just be myself. And kind of interesting to what you were saying earlier about how like the level of maturity that you need to be to kind of be in politics. And I 100% agree. And thank you. But I also feel like
you've always been very mature though. You've always had a high consciousness in terms of what you're doing and just
thank you.
I don't know how to word that properly, but not everybody has always had a foot forward like you do. Like a lot of people put their foot backwards.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
He moves with intention. He moves with intention. That's the way to put
it. I would say so. I feel like I'd like to think I'm relatively self-aware.
And I've always viewed you as a very logical person.
Right? To a fault almost.
You've always been very logical. So that does, like, I'd say aid in that.
I would say for sure. But what I was gonna say though is that I'm still not afraid to like be silly and be a kid, kind of. Like
we're in the car yesterday, okay, and I looked in his middle console or in front of his Prindle, and there were bubbles. Like, why do you have bubbles in the car? And he's like, just so you know, if I'm like ever stuck in traffic and like
blow bubbles.
I love
that. It's so fun.
I literally was like, that is the most main character energy like thing I could ever see. I loved it.
Well, imagine just driving down the street or not even stuck in traffic and you just see bubbles floating by. Like, what a dream. I would think I'm in a fairy tale.
A different reality, but like a good one that I want to be in. Like
exactly.
When there's all these grumpy people honking at each other, and then Hudson's just in there like
blowing bubbles. The bubble fairy just like, where are they coming from?
That's your new nickname, is
the bubble fairy.
They're like, it's the bubble fairy that's doing it.
As soon as I get my phone back, I'm gonna change the
Find me on Instagram at the bubble fairy.
Oh my god. Vote for the bubble fairy.
That's what I'm gonna put my name as on the ballot next time.
Your new campaign. That's hilarious.
Every time someone sees bubbles, they're just like, I know who it is.
Hudson. Good like brand affiliation for sure.
And there's a bubble emoji, so
So Apple's already on my side.
Apple is their vote. They made their vote.
Wow, look at me go. Maybe bubbles will be, maybe that's it. Both bubbles.
So Hudson actually came on this Zoom call today for a consultation, like a consultation about his brand. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I really just need branding advice. Thank you guys.
Bubbles.
Yeah.
Bubbles.
No, actually, my New Year's resolution was to post on social media at least once, like one post once a day.
On your personal?
Just
or
on,
everything?
just
Yeah,
like
one thing.
Yeah, not like a Twitter and Instagram a day, but just a post a day.
Tweet today, Instagram
Just
tomorrow,
a story the next
tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my New Year's
good
resolution.
Did you do it? Have you
I've done okay.
Yeah.
I need to do better.
Okay.
How can I do better? How can I remind myself?
Okay, so first I would say if you say you make do you make videos or anything for
I want to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say start with blocking off time in your schedule to do that, even if it's like an hour a day, like say an hour on Monday, an hour on Wednesday, and like an hour on Friday. And then obviously you kind of need to brainstorm and figure out what kind of videos you want to make or what topics you want to cover. But there are different platforms that you can use. So say you go and a lot of people, when it comes to content creation, they will batch make videos.
Yeah.
So then they can go and post them and like schedule them. Buffer is an app.
That's what I use.
Yeah. So like putting things in there, so then they're scheduled. You don't need to worry about that. Even if it's like, okay, I'm going to leave my schedule the way it is for every other day, but Sunday I'm going to spend 3 hours just doing content and like scheduling things for the next 2 weeks or next week.
The thing is though, I never know what's going to come up next week. You know what I mean?
So then that's probably okay. So say if you were to do it weekly.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And then at least say like half an hour a day you go in, maybe you need to change something, or maybe you want to respond to comments or go and like comment on other people's stuff, then allocate that time in there. But I think when it comes to content, the hardest thing to do is to just get started in doing it and actually like put the time aside to do it.
Yes.
But once you do that and you're sitting in front of your computer or your iPad or whatever, and you get that first brain stream going of where you want to go, then it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah. No, I like that idea. And I like the idea of like scheduling time.
Yeah, because even tweets, you can schedule those.
Oh, yeah.
Well, right?
Yeah.
So
tweets I can do pretty quickly.
Those are
not hard. Yeah, but it's the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the stories.
I'm gonna give you a tip. I'm gonna give you a tip. Okay, because I relate to your scheduling. I'm gonna give you an actual tip that you can do without any paid software service or anything, because I relate to your schedule in terms of like
you can schedule them on Instagram too.
No, I'm not even talking about like your schedule. Like you can schedule on Instagram, but like in terms of just having a busy schedule, because you said you're always out going places, driving around, whatever. Literally, when you're stuck in traffic, pull out your phone, just put on your dashboard, film yourself, blow bubbles, and then just start talking about
it's content. It's literally
content.
No, you're right.
Literally, that's a good tip, because even for lashes, that was something that I like realized I needed to do. Record myself no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah, because content is all content.
Yeah. You can find a caption to put on there. You can find a quote to put on there. Like when I'm making videos of doing girls' lashes, like sometimes I use the same video that I used last time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, like, you know what I mean? You can like put things together, or I'll make like a compilation, or like Mano took videos of me writing on my lash fridge and like restocking my drinks and everything, which I can edit. But
do a montage, but like anything. I'm gonna give you an idea right now, okay? Just so you have it, so you can listen to this back and you can redo it. I think next time you're in the car, literally just park yourself in a parking lot somewhere before you go, or in your driveway, whatever. Pull out your bubbles, start the video by blowing your bubbles, and then literally put it down and just start talking about your politics or about whatever message you're trying to get across, because that differentiates you. Yeah, you can be whatever, but like this differentiates you, because people are going to be scrolling and they're going to see someone blowing bubbles and then talking about politics.
They're going to be like, "Who the fuck is this bubble fairy?"
I'm the bubble fairy.
But like it differentiates you, because I've never seen
that.
No,
you are running.
And then all you do is you take that video clip, you download CapCut, which is free, right? And you just auto-generate captions, and it will auto-generate captions for your video. You take the video and then you just post it. And then like you put little
captions aren't bad. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
If and then what I do an extra step. I put the video I edit into one click, and then I generate captions and then post it. But then for you, you can just like write your own. It doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
that's a way you can do it where you can start producing content very easily.
You could use ChatGPT for that too if you want to create a caption.
ChatGPT's captions are always like rife with emojis and hashtags that I would never be caught dead using.
Yeah. Well, then just like in it, say use no emoji.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's good advice. I really thank you. Yeah. I like that. I like the bubble idea. Like it is like differentiating.
And it could be something different. Like you could grab something from your house, like if you see it and you're like, okay, that's fun. And like you're just in the car, like on the way to work, and you're like a little bit of like sports paint or whatever, you know what I mean? Like little random things like that, and it'll always catch someone's eye.
Yeah, true.
We're gonna hold you accountable though. After this, I'm adding you on Instagram, and I'm gonna
we're making a group chat.
No, please, I need to be held accountable. That's what I was talking with the counselor at the city of Pitt Meadows, and we were both like, we both need to do better at social media. We're both going to keep each other accountable. So please text me, all of anyone listening at home, DM me if I haven't posted today. Okay. I'm trusting you all to hold me accountable.
You had a period of time on TikTok where you were posting every day.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because there were always vlogs. And I would sit and watch every single one of them.
I know I could go back and do vlogs like that. It just takes so much time.
Yeah.
And then when you're already have no time, and
it could be a 30-second.
Ever since getting elected, what I realized too is lots of my life is relatively confidential.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of things that I do where I'm like, oh, I was in a meeting, but period. But I do like the vlogs. I should start doing it again. Let me know in the comments down below.
Are you... Odd question, not odd question, but are you boycotting right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go into a new coffee shop, literally just take a short video, like...
Oh, I know what I mean? Starbucks. Yeah.
No, but that's what I mean is like you can, like little things like that. It doesn't always need to be work related, but people they like to know that there's a person behind the politician, right?
Yeah.
Like they like to know that there's personality, and you're very personable.
Thank you.
But sometimes too, when you're like busy and you're not posting a lot, it can seem like, okay, well, this is his life now.
Yeah.
Like he's just to that.
No, yeah.
You're still you, right?
Yeah. And something that I was told is that like the voters want to know that you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like they voted, like you want to know that you're, although it's only school board, like you still want to know that the people that you voted for are getting shit done.
Yeah. And again, you don't have to say anything about what you're doing, but you're like, okay, I'm in a meeting.
Yeah.
Like you could come out and you could be like, oh.
But at least it shows that I was in a meeting.
Yeah.
Because in reality, you're right. Like, what do I do? What have I done for the past year? Really, there's no like documentation of lots of it. You're right.
Yeah.
But even it just, not only does it humanize you, but especially for the media events, because you mentioned you go to media events, people find that fascinating. Like just being able to show that like I'm going into a media event, look at the behind the scenes, like people love to see that. And just to see your personality shine through there. And then also when they see later on in the media, like they're like, oh my God, I saw the behind the scenes to that. Like this is like, I know him. He's like my friend, right? Like that's what builds the connection. And then that what builds your brand image like so much stronger.
You know what you can also do too when it comes to stuff like this, and it might actually make things easier for you, but if you have friends that you know post on social media regularly and stuff, and say you are just so slammed with time, you can be like, hey, I'm going to upload these videos to Google Drive. Do you mind editing them? Like, I'll send you like $25.
Yeah.
And say if you're really like in a place where you trust them editing your videos.
I'm sure there's hundreds of CapCut templates for vlogs.
Actually, I think CapCut templates, though, you have
to pay?
I think you have to have a subscription for this, or else there's like a CapCut sticker on them.
You don't.
Regardless,
you don't need that. I literally all you need.
No, I know. I
take multiple videos, like literally one after the other, just plop them in CapCut together, like one after the other, and then just add captions, export. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Before I wouldn't even do them in CapCut. I would just edit them in the TikTok app.
Yeah.
Which now feels like hell now that I know how CapCut operates.
Yeah. But then, if you are in a place where you're like, okay, I need content out, but I don't want to hire someone, but like, I need to get this out and I don't have the time. Literally just
ask a friend.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea.
Because I know that there's people around you who would support you and like, whether it's for free or if it's for $25 for a video, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%. And like, I'm not like, I don't have to commit to doing a video every day.
No.
You know what I mean? Like we can start out by committing to like 2 a week, and then let's get in the habit of doing that and then work our way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally start with allocating time so you can make short videos, or when you're out, just recording things that you're doing. Even if you don't realize that you're going to use it, you still have that. So if you have an idea pop in your head, or you see something that relates to that in the future, and you're like, oh my God, I took a video of that.
You got it.
And repurpose it.
Yeah. Use old footage.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. Good branding session. I appreciated that.
We joked about it, and it ended up actually being a branding session.
Yeah.
No, I love that. But that was good advice, not only for like a politician, but just for anyone wanting to improve their personal brand.
Well, yeah, like anyone was, because like I even went, and it's funny because a few days back I got coffee with a friend who is also like big into international politics. So, and he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I really want to get into the content creation, but like all I do now is post on Twitter. I don't know how to breach Instagram, how to breach TikTok. And I was just like,
just post.
I was like, you know what we'll do right now? I literally told him, I was like, you're taking your phone, putting it down, filming right there, like literally right there, film, and then put the clips in CapCut. And like it's so simple, but sometimes people just need like the kick in the ass to get them like just started. And once they start, like all the fears disappear after that.
No, you're so right. It's really just like consistency.
Yeah.
Because like we can talk about the algorithms and all these things we can do. Like it's a shit.
They want to know like when people are watching your videos, obviously, but they also, if you're posting them constantly, you're spending time on Instagram doing that.
That's what they share. Yeah, exactly.
And Mano, he also has, it's called Eats of Durham, which is like a region in Ontario, like in Toronto area.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
You do food reviews, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it. I'm a big fan.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on. I keep up.
Yeah. But yeah, it's literally just committing to it and like being in your head saying, okay, I'm going to do this. And then it being a part of what you're doing every day.
I think you're right. It's getting through like your own mental block with everything. Yeah. It's mind over matter.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, I do have the time. Like I have the 15 minutes at the end of the day to sit there and like edit a video. I'm just not prioritizing that, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd just rather lay there and watch YouTube.
Too, you think about it when you're at home, and then when you're out doing stuff, it like slips your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you tell yourself, okay, as soon as I touch my phone, I'm going to think, what can I do for content?
Yeah.
Right? And then it'll trigger that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was during that point when I was doing it. It really was.
You were posting a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I knew what was going on in your life
all
every
the
day.
time. I know. I need to. Yeah, I'll get back into doing that for sure. And I think that would also it would be cool to show to younger people a younger politician. Because like you guys were saying, most young people are not really paying attention to politics.
Yeah.
Or like lots are not.
They don't realize, well, there's politics in everything, but...
Yeah, but they're not like seeking out to figure out who their elected officials are.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially their school board trustees, I promise you.
Yeah.
But if you show them, I don't know. Yeah. Like one of my favorite parts of the job is getting to go and tour and like chat with high school students.
Yeah.
Like this...
we feel so old.
I didn't. I usually don't until I was standing there with the teacher and a student walked up and asked me who I was TOCing for. And I was like, oh, you looked at me and said, you're an adult, not a kid.
Yeah.
And that made me, I was like, oh, I don't like that at all, that you assumed I was a teacher.
Yeah.
But what is a TOC?
Teacher on call.
Oh, so like
a substitute. Sorry.
Substitute. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, don't worry. I'm in Ontario. I've never heard that term before. It's probably known. I just am ignorant and didn't.
No, well, it's
different. No, it's just
Paulina and I were actually talking about this too. We were talking about like R&R or on red, like left on red or whatever. And I had one of my friends in Ontario say, "Yeah, I got aired."
Aired?
Yeah, and I was like,
I mean, like left on red?
Like ghosted, yeah, like left on red, yeah. Yeah, and like some people don't know what R&R means, right? Like, do you know what? Read and no reply. Yeah.
I did not know.
Like, yeah, see, but you know what I mean? Like, Paulina knows it. I don't know why, but nobody else around her really like knew what that meant.
Well, it's like, do you remember what macking used to mean?
I'd had this conversation with her too.
Nobody outside of like Ridge Meadows knows what that
macking
means. Yeah.
Do you know what macking
I still
means?
don't know what macking means. No,
It's like, yeah,
making out.
Well, like you're like, yeah,
you're like a thing with someone.
yeah.
Oh, so you're in the talking like situationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it's very like I'd say it's very uh very yeah, I was gonna say a very youthful.
Yeah.
Sounds so bad.
Like,
But like I'm not gonna use that now that I'm 21.
No.
I'm never gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm macking a guy right now.
no.
Like no, but that was like a term that people used in high school.
You said that, and I thought you were talking about like a Big Mac, and I was like, macking.
No,
like
definitely
Lady in the Tramp style.
Yeah, right. Like are they like biting it? I'm like, okay,
no. But yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how little terms like that, especially with social media, they blow up so much in one area, but then nobody.
Yeah. Especially TikTok, it's so like geography based. I feel like there's so many, like I get so many TikToks in Vancouver.
When I go from Toronto to Montreal, suddenly I have a bunch of Montreal videos coming up, or when I come here, suddenly I'm getting news on Vancouver and I'm out here.
Yeah, because like if I go away and stuff too, I'm automatically on.
And that's the thing about like TikTok is there is region, like you can direct videos towards a region.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like when I was posting all the time, I would always put hashtag UVic, UBC, and SFU.
Yeah,
because I knew that if I put UVic, it would reach Vancouver Island.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What strategically?
Yeah, right.
When somebody doesn't answer you, Mano, what term do you use?
Left on red or delivered?
Yeah. Okay. What if they open it?
Left unopened?
Really?
Yeah, left unopened. Like red?
So you never heard the term R&R before?
I've never heard that.
Wow.
Like, I'm just hearing this for the first time from you guys right now.
Wow.
R&R. I like
R&R.
I would
not say read no response. Read no reply.
Read no response.
I just say left on open or left on delivered. Or...
When I was talking to Paulina about it, she was like, yeah, a lot of people say left on red, but I like R&R more because it really means that they left you on red. It's more intense.
It is. It's like aggressive.
Opened it and they said, no, I don't want to answer you.
Yeah, they read it and chose not to respond. That's so rude.
That is so rude.
Yeah, like ghosted. That's, I don't know, like Casper the Friendly Ghost. They just floated away.
They don't.
Maybe they had a heart attack. I don't know, but like,
not in this household.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I could have chosen anything else. Maybe they were murdered.
Awkward. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's okay. It was a joke. Don't worry.
No, I don't.
No, there was a period of time after my dad had a heart attack where, you know, the song Heart Attack by Demi Lovato. If anyone played it, I was like, like, I hated the term. I didn't want to hear it.
We hate Demi Lovato on this podcast.
No, we don't.
You don't like Poot Lovato? I love Poot Lovato.
Poot Lovato on this podcast.
Yeah, we love her.
No, I remember I was wheezing for maybe like an hour after when I first saw Poot Lovato. I was like, I couldn't handle it. I could not handle it.
I think I actually went to, was it Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas? No,
I feel like
Jonas. I went with Shayna when like 2018.
I went to the Jonas Brothers concert this past time when they were in town.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was good, but they took a weird 15-minute intermission, which I had never seen at a concert before.
Yeah.
Just weird. Like house lights came on, 15-minute timer on the screen. Everyone went pee and came. Like it was weird.
We're at a sports game, apparently.
Yeah, I was like, if y'all need a break, like just tag team off or something. Like, I don't know. That feels
just
weird.
Leave Nick on stage.
Yeah, make him sing Jealous and then do Cake by the Ocean and then the other one can just...
Kevin can just
sit. Yeah, I don't know. He can go like take care of his 4 kids or something. I don't know.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay. One question I have, considering you're obviously an elected official now, like what is something that a lot of people get wrong about your job?
That's
a very good question.
Yeah, that is.
It's a very negatively framed question, Mano. Kidding.
Well, no, like a common misconception is that like politicians are like singularly pulling all the strings. And that is just entirely not true at all.
They have no pull sometimes.
So yeah, like oftentimes we really don't. Like for example, I ran on 3 pillars being sustainability, student voice, and safer schools. Yeah. Safer schools, not in the sense that I want to put police in schools, but in the sense that some of our like physical infrastructure was unsafe.
Yeah.
So we need like new buildings so they don't collapse on our kids. Mm-hmm. But like that's a huge one. I have no control whether the provincial government is going to fund a new high school. Like I can beg and plead and write as many letters and make as many calls, and
you have just as much pull as we would as individuals on the outside.
Yeah, I'm just like more connected, I guess, in theory. Like I just know the right people to call, maybe in theory, but even then, like, yeah, even then. And like sustainability, for example, like there's tons of things that I would love to see us do, like have an electric vehicle fleet. I would love us to use less paper. I would love us to become a carbon neutral school district, utilizing not carbon offset, but they're just, it's hard, and with the financial limitations of everything, and also on a school board specifically, I'm just one of 7. Yeah. So I have to work to convince the other 6 people on the board that it's a good idea. And then even if we would all agree that it's a good idea, it still has to be like possible within the budget and staff like capacity. Yeah. Because I'm not the one going into schools making sure all these things happen. It's all the staff that, like however many thousand staff that work for our school district.
Yeah.
So what do you do when things don't go as planned?
Try again, keep going. I don't know. Often they don't go as planned. And like the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, as we know. So
sorry, we say that at least once every episode.
Do we? So this is that?
Yeah. We say that like you got it. You're on the money.
Thanks, y'all. I practiced. That was on the cheat sheet that Ashley provided me beforehand.
There was no cheat sheet. There was him driving through the snow and me being like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. It is seriously snowing, which is nuts.
We have Ashley, we have a snowstorm in Toronto happening right now, so you're gonna come back to a snowstorm here too.
Yeah.
My boots are in Toronto, so it's fine. I don't have them here.
I would say though, you just keep trying, but from a different approach.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day,
I think that's like applicable to anything too, right? And a lot of people are quick to give up, but your job kind of is one of those where if you give up, then you show people that maybe they chose the wrong person to be in office, or
no, exactly.
Right?
And if the public disagrees with what I'm doing, they can vote me out. Yeah. And like, not that like they can happily vote me out. That's not the right choice of words. But like, if the public disagrees with my philosophies or like the way I'm voting, then I shouldn't be in office. Like, I agree. I should not win the next election.
You don't represent.
Yeah, I'm not
general public.
Representing the constituency base. Exactly. Yeah. But I also think kind of approaching things from a different angle or a different like mindset can be really helpful. Because if I truly believe in the end, like the outcome of what I want to happen, then really my job is just to convince everyone else around me that it's the right decision.
Yeah.
And if I truly believe that, then it shouldn't be that hard. Right?
Yeah. We think it's such a big leadership role too. Like as is essentially the forefront, like the head of it, like it's your direction, it's your vision that everyone else is following. Like that's why they voted for you, because they believe in your vision.
Well, and that's essentially what entrepreneurs do all the time too, right? Or salespeople is, whether it's fake or not, like you have to convince people around you that what you're doing will benefit them or benefit someone they know or just help some way, somehow. And so it's convincing yourself first that you can do it, and then convincing the other people around you.
No, exactly. And like an example that we kind of talked about a couple of days ago actually was artificial intelligence is a huge thing in education right now. We're all university students. I'm sure every syllabus for the past 2 semesters has mentioned AI in some capacity.
Yeah.
And there's a huge push right now to just ban AI in all BC public classrooms. I completely disagree. I think we should be training our youth on how to use AI so we don't have a workforce that's like behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, but
I
it's so true.
am the biggest advocate of this. Biggest advocate.
Yeah.
Actually.
But it's so true because if you don't teach, like, so I had a class, not last semester, but the one before, and at like third class, she like led us through. She had the librarians come in and actually teach us ChatGPT and how to use it efficiently and like how it can help you with prompts and this and that. But obviously, every teacher that I've had says don't use it to get information because you can't trust it, but you can use it to help guide you. Like if you want to create like outline for an essay, use it to create your outline based on your topic. It'll format it for you, and then you can take that and then input your information that you've done your research on from there. And so if you have like our generation obviously is going to be very well versed in that, right? Because we are there as it comes in. And so if you don't teach these youth how to do that, if you ban it, then you're going to have all these adults who are so well versed in it, right? And it's like Excel, it's like anything like that, like Microsoft. Like if you don't teach kids how to use that at a young age, once they get into the workforce or whatever they're doing, it's going to be really difficult for them to, well, we have YouTube and stuff like that. So it's
it almost goes further than the workforce because it's almost in the same vein as like media literacy.
Yeah.
It's like
100%.
ChatGPT is not going to give you facts. It's not going to give you the correct information. And we need to but it's still such a valuable tool, but it's not Google or it's not like a dictionary.
Yeah.
We know this. And we need to be teaching kids that exactly and not just letting them kind of figure it out.
Yeah. Well, then that'll screw kids over so much more. But if you have this herd of people who are using AI and moving forward and developing and becoming more efficient, and then you like opposing that, you have people who are not allowed to use it. Yeah. Who do you think is going to excel and who do you think is going to kind of hit a wall?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And my point is if other jurisdictions are doing this across the world, BC should not be falling behind. Yeah. That's just crazy. Yeah. But that's kind of that's a point of contention right now is kind of my point. Kind of the generational gap too, I think comes into play there a little bit.
100%.
I'm also thinking like in terms of because it's very interesting the fact that you're saying that because my mom's also a teacher, so she tells me a lot about AI in the school system, and she always like talks about it not being good and that AI should be canceled, whatever. And I think now her opinion has changed because I've educated her on AI because I'm my entire life is basically AI essentially at this point. I'm able to convince her now, and because of that, because of the education she received, now she's opened up to it. I think it's like, I mean, I sound like a broken record, but I think it's just a matter of education. Because they just don't know.
A lot of things too, right?
No,
it's like you said before. We were talking about when I said I wasn't well versed, and you were like, "No, well, I think more young people are more well versed than they realize, and old people have their idea, like they think they know everything." It kind of goes, and I'm not saying this about you, Carmen, at all. Please don't, if you're listening, which I know you're definitely not listening this far into the episode. But I'm not saying that at all about you. But I mean, there is a whole generation where they think because they grew up without AI that they don't need it, and that it's just going to harm our generation, which is so not true. It's going to help. Like my dad, even we had to write a script for a video that he was doing for promotion, and what did we use? We used ChatGPT. Obviously, it wasn't perfect, but we went back, it gave us the format.
And soon one can do it too.
Yeah. Yeah. But what it did is it gave us a structure, and instead of spending an hour creating a script and like double going over things, we maybe spent like half an hour putting in the information we wanted and adjusting things the way we needed to.
And the reality is these softwares and these programs are being used in the workforce. Mm-hmm. Like, it's crazy to say you can't use it in school, but as soon as you go into the workforce, everyone in my office uses ChatGPT for tons of stuff. Like, it's such a convenient tool to have.
It's like, and this is this might be a bad comparison, but it's like when we're in high school, whatever, and you have to call your teacher by their last name, and then as soon as you get to university, all your profs are like, "Yeah, I'm Bob."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. Like, I understand professionalism, but when you're in university, it's like, "Hey, professor," or like, "Hey, Bob."
Or like in university, I can walk in a half hour late and nobody is going to care at all. It's my money. But in high school, they were like, "Wow, that's not good. You're going to fail university."
Yeah.
They love to fingers, but like 100% I agree. Oh my God, voice crack. I agree. I think that you're doing great by fighting for the future is what that is doing, because there are people now, there are jobs. Hey, I don't know if you're familiar with the term prompt engineer, right? But these are new jobs that have been created through AI, and there's some of the highest paying jobs. Like I saw a listing for a prompt engineering job at one of the big tech companies for 300,000 Canadian a year, just to be a prompt engineer. Because it's such a new skill and not many people have it, they are literally throwing money to get.
I need someone. Like they're yelling out, I need your help.
So imagine if we could teach every public education student how to but it's just, that's the system. Everything takes so long. Like, look at how long it took before typing was in the curriculum.
I was going to say
that was like typing 2000, like coding still isn't even in the curriculum, for crying out loud.
Well, I mean, now with AI too, AI can do basically almost everything. And as we go along, like this year, people are saying is the tipping point between exponential growth. And after the stage, people are saying like AI is going to be able to do everything. And the people who don't know how to utilize AI are going to all fall behind. So,
the pace. You think last year went by fast? Well, actually, last year was kind of one of those where it was like really fast, then like things stand still, and then this year I think is going to be a consistent uphill, and things are just going to keep going up. And things
AI programming that I've seen for photos, videos, 3D modeling, like it's crazy the improvement.
It's AI creating photos that blows my mind.
Have you done the photo like expansion trend?
Yes, and also just like talking about politics, things that are happening in the world, like AI photos that are being created for like propaganda. Like it's just insane, right?
It really is insane. And it kind of comes back to like media literacy.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's proving to be a more and more important skill.
100% too, because especially when it comes to politics and stuff like that, say you do have a campaign that's using an AI generated photo, maybe for propaganda, maybe not for something that's going to benefit the community. If you're not well versed in AI, you're not going to be able to point it out, right?
Yeah.
But as someone who might know what AI photos look like it's the thing about when it comes to technology for us, I feel like we've just grown up and we know, right? But if you don't have that hunch and you can be like, okay, no, Instagram, for example. Yeah. If my dad were to click on someone's Instagram profile and they had 100,000 followers, but they had 200 likes on their photo, he wouldn't be like, oh, maybe they bought their followers. But me, obviously, I click on that and I'm like, okay, I know that this person obviously has spent money.
Or it's like when like a scam text from Fido. Yeah. Like I read that and I know this is a scam, but my mom still goes, Hudson, do you think this is a scam or do you think I need to call Fido? And I'm like, we have a plan with Fido.
I never know anything.
Yeah.
Right? So
exactly.
I keep getting the e-transfer one.
Me too, or like, Canada Post. Yeah. I get all the
so time. Annoying.
Yes. All the time. Okay, but like
I bet you I have one.
Like this takes me to my next question for you, because you obviously we're talking about the future now and we're talking about like everything not present moment. How do you think about the future, especially in the frame of like a politician? Like how do you frame it where I guess
just a politician,
but
a
Gen Z politician. Like, how do you think of the future?
I don't know. I think I think of the short term and the long term. And I think for every decision that you make, it's pretty easy to think about the short term consequences, but it can be a bit trickier to think about like the long term ramifications of some things.
I think our generation struggles with that a lot too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just because we've grown up in such a fast paced, I don't want to say ADHD prone, but
no, but
the only word I can
like look at TikTok. It's like 7 seconds of video and we're done.
Yeah. Like our generation is just so used to like short term.
Like quick dopamine hits.
Versus like long-term gratification.
Yeah. So no, exactly. And I think, so that's just kind of something to contend with, especially in politics. Like you're making decisions that could affect your whole community or your whole neighborhood for decades, hell, centuries to come. Like schools stand for hundreds of years sometimes. So And the location of a school can really last forever. I mean, in my kind of, that's just one kind of obvious thing that has a huge impact. But I don't know, that's one way that I kind of think of it when I'm making decisions. But personally, I think of the future in different steps. I think like I like to set lots of goals, and I like to put kind of timelines on my goals.
Yeah.
So I like to think of things in like a month's time, a week's time, a year's time.
Well, and that's the thing about politics too, is we have all of this stuff being put in front of our faces in social media and everything, but you have that and stuff. You have that and everything else that not everyone else knows, right? So you're getting updates all the time on things that I might not find out about for 6 months.
Yes. No, you're 100% right. And there's also, it's interesting for me to try to kind of shuffle through, and I don't really know how to word this properly, but kind of shuffle through the real politics and then like the internet politics. Like there's lots of things that the internet and the media really likes to like sensationalize, but in the real world, it's just not affecting people's lives. You know what I mean? Like what's affecting people's lives is like housing, healthcare, cost of living, like wars across this world and like genocides that are taking place. Like these are things that are actually important, not some of these like social media. Oh my God, so wet. Sorry.
My dad and my brother went upstairs and left him outside.
Oh my God, the dog just came. You're wet. I don't want to touch you.
I mean, but
yeah,
no, that's very fair.
Yeah. And I think kind of trying to sift through all of that, and also sift through like the opinions and the information that everyone is going to share with you. Mm-hmm. And trying to explain to people when they do share that information that you value their opinion, but you might not do what they want you to do.
Yeah.
And trying to like explain that to somebody can also
hard.
Be challenging. Yeah. Especially when people are very set in their ways sometimes.
Yeah. And a lot of people are very emotional too, right? Like a lot of things hit close to home for them. So
yeah, especially like their children's education. That's a huge thing for everyone. Education's huge. It's super important, and I agree, but there's just, sometimes you got to make the unpopular decisions, I guess.
Yeah. Expectations versus reality.
Expectations versus reality, exactly.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. And I think like now a year in, I've learned to set my expectations at a different place so I can better actualize them.
Yeah. And I think it's also, learning about yourself more as you kind of grow into the adult that you're becoming, and also learning that you don't have to stop changing. You can constantly change and evolve. And I think a lot of people kind of hit a point where they decide, okay, no, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm going to be, and that puts them in one mindset. But learning that your expectations can change too, like say that expectations, but if they end up changing, that's totally fine, right? Because as long as you have an end goal, my end goal's up here, okay? As long as you have an end goal, it doesn't matter how many pivots you have to make along the way, as long as you get there, right?
Yeah,
so
I completely agree. And it kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier about like continuing to try over and over again. It's like, you know what the goal is going to be. It doesn't really matter how you get there. Let's just try to actualize that goal. That's in this instance, like we know it'll be beneficial for our community.
So I went to, and this kind of ties into this, but I went into my dad's seminar to help him, right? Because I'm working for him now. Mm-hmm. And he had even the little ones write their goal for 30 days in the center of the bubble and everything that they're going to do in that, right? And I think when it comes to, people tend to overcomplicate things for themselves. And so like this kid had written like win this championship, and he had no idea what to write on the outside. I was like, okay, well, 1, you could start with sleeping properly. 2 can be eating properly. 3 can be cutting down your phone time. 4 can be training every day. 5 can, it comes down to, when it comes to expectations of what you want for yourself, it comes down to the little things that you're doing, right? And whether it be with finances, whether it be with work, whether it be with fitness, whether it be with anything, if you set a goal for yourself, you just have to break it down into what will actually benefit getting to that goal.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes like we're human at the end of the day. Sometimes things don't work out the way that we want them to.
Yeah.
So that's where you kind of jump in, you pivot, you say, okay, well, I'm taking this out of my 30-day plan, but I'm going to put this here instead.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was going to say that as well, is that like, it's also okay if you don't hit that goal.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. We're all humans and like stuff happens. And even like
I start your 30-day plan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like 30 days from when, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, even I find myself sometimes like laying in bed for like all day, you know? Like it's just one of those days and you're like, I really did nothing today. But then you have to remind yourself that like that's okay to do nothing for a day. Like that's normal and healthy.
Work hard, rest just as hard.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like I feel bad for taking one break day, but I've been working 40 hours these past 4 days. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's also the grind culture too. Like now it's just everything you see is just always constantly work. And I can't even speak because I do the same shit. Ashley will tell you the same thing. I'm always, even though she tells me like, do you need to take a break?
No, he was going out the other day and he was like, I'll start a document. I was like, you just worked all day and you're leaving your house in 10 minutes. Don't open up that document.
Let's not do that.
And then he opened up the document. I was like, for real? But
like
motivated.
But when you talk about productivity though, like there's different levels of productivity, but a productive day, as long as you did something that benefited you, you're like, not even if it's for your work, but if it benefited yourself, like your mental health, that's still being productive.
It all contributes, right?
It all contributes to your productivity, right?
Yeah. And that's also, I don't know, and living in Toronto has really opened up my eyes to this, just because being in the city kind of shows you a lot more of what's going on with people, right? Like living in a community like this, you don't really see what's going on with people because everybody goes home, they go in their houses, or they go on.
We're in the suburbs.
Yeah. And so I was actually talking to this girl that I had met on the TTC from the Ukraine, and she's working like 3 jobs here. And she was just talking about how when she lived because she had gone to Europe before, after she had left the Ukraine, and just how in Europe they very much like work to live, right? Like they just work however much they need to in order to like enjoy their lives. And then here it's like we live to work. So, and I always get those two confused.
Yeah, no, but you're so right. You're so right. And like something that you said that was kind of interesting to me was that like, as long as at the end of the day, you feel like you did something for yourself, like you are fulfilled.
Yeah.
And I think that like, I've kind of adopted that mindset more and more. It's even in like my work life, like the things that I'm doing in my work, I want to make sure that they're also benefiting me.
No, they should not.
And not just, and not just doing my job like mindlessly.
And that goes back to, I'd say, how you felt going into that job, but also just who you are as a person, right? Like you've always been someone who will stand up for what they believe in, will have those uncomfortable conversations that maybe not everyone will have, who is passionate about things, who will literally do their research on something just to make sure that you know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So, and I feel like when you jump, and obviously I don't know because I have never experienced it, but when you get put in certain rooms with certain people, sometimes you might belittle yourself and not stick to that. So as long as you, like, again, saying, okay, well, I'm going to do something for me every day, like that's really good, because it keeps you in the persona that you have been playing, if that makes sense. Like your personal persona.
No, yeah, exactly. And 100%. I don't want to like change who I am when I'm in.
That's also why we talked about podcast, and I was like, I want Hudson on the podcast because just you as a person, you have always, and I see a lot of parallels in a lot of my friends, and even though he's entrepreneur and you are
but you surround yourself with a lot of really like driven people.
Yeah But that's what I mean, is like, even though, and this is your guys' first time meeting properly over the phone or in any context, as like he was talking and I got you guys to introduce yourself, he was talking about his businesses and you were talking about what you've done. I just felt so many parallels as I was listening to both of them, right? And like, obviously I know what goes on in your life and what goes on in your life, but when you put them side by side, it's like, holy shit, like both of you are doing such amazing things and are always constantly doing something.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. So are you, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I look at, let's not discount yourself by any means.
I'm not in
But
any means.
no, I know.
mean, that's why I was so excited. And then hearing that made me go, okay, this was so perfect.
Like
this needed to happen.
It's also your big five, right? We always talk about your big five. It's who you surround yourself with. Like if you surround yourself with 5 go-getters, 5 hardworking people, you're gonna be the 6th, and like you're gonna do amazing things, right? It's just who you surround yourself with.
You are the sum of the 5 people who you surround yourself with.
Like, if you're with negative people all day long, you're going to be a negative person. But if you are with people that uplift you and also are doing their own amazing things, like bigger than life things, like you are going to do amazing things because you are going to be inspired no matter what by being around those people. So it's like Ashley's doing an amazing job because she's surrounding herself with people who are doing amazing things, and she's also doing amazing things, right? It's like you can see it from the people she surrounds herself with to what she's actually doing. It's like, I mean, same with you. I don't know who your friends are, but like assuming you're friends with people like Ashley, it's like, you know, it builds up the things.
Hudson's always had a lot of friends.
No, well, not so much anymore. But
well, when you become an adult, it obviously shifts, right?
Yeah, it can totally shift.
I'd say even like I made a huge jump, and I have my like circle of like maybe 8 good friends that I will see in both provinces consecutively. And then beyond that is like just acquaintances who I might call my friend, but they're not like, and that's why I call you guys my best friends, is because you guys are the people that I always will come back to. Like if I'm in BC, I know I'm going to see Hudson, right? Or if I'm in Toronto, like I know I'm going to end up working with Mano 4 out of 5 days a week, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's interesting how kind of your friends change. And like I was gonna say dwindled down, but that's not really the right choice of words. I feel like some friendships get stronger while others kind of pull away. Like in high school where we might have had 20 friends, now we have like 5 best friends and 30 acquaintances. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you just meet so many new people as you get older.
Well, and that's also, and we've talked about this as well, and I've had conversations with like Shayna about this, but I'd say as you get older, you kind of come along people that are meant to be in your life, like your soul family, right? And so, and those are like the supportive people who will like tell you right from wrong, but who will also give you that push and be like, okay, like you got this. Like, I know you're capable of doing this. And like, there's no envy or jealousy or anything like that.
Yeah. And I'm super appreciative. I'm super appreciative of that fact that the people that I surround myself with are not afraid to tell me what they think and how they feel. And if I did something wrong, they're not afraid to say, Hudson, you fucked up. Or like, you need to do this, or you need to fix that. Like, and I really appreciate that relationship.
Yeah. It's like a healthy boundary relationship. Right?
Yeah. And there's no fear that, like, they can say whatever, and there's no fear that I will get mad or whatever.
And that's also like, as you get older, you become more sure of yourself.
Yeah.
So, you know, like for me, I have gone through things in the past year where I have lost certain friends, right? And I know throughout that, I did my best to be the best person that I could be, even if there were moments of doubt at the end, because that's just who I am. And I don't act maliciously towards people. I've just never really had that characteristic.
You have.
So,
just,
I don't know. There's like, as you grow up, you realize these things, and whether you change or you have always been that way, right? Like you really end up being sure of yourself, and then you find the people who are sure of you as well.
Yeah, you definitely get more confident, and you like learn confident, but
from first year university until now, like I was in and Mano knows all about this, but I was in a group project for what class was it? It was Crime in Canada, actually. And I actually took a women in politics class last semester as well.
Cool. Did you hear about any of them? Who's your favorite woman in politics?
It wasn't necessarily, like we kind of talked more about like suffragettes and like just the history,
like
right?
More feminism.
Yeah, it was definitely feminism driven.
Yeah. Cool though.
But no, I was in a group chat in a group with a bunch of first years because it was an elective. And like I was just like I was like, okay, what time are we meeting? They didn't show up twice. And then when we were on meetings, like they would just sit there quiet. And like there was COVID group projects where you really like somebody had to take the lead and push. But I'm like, okay, we're post-COVID right now.
And at this point, we know how to do this.
And then like the question, like we would read the question for the group project, and they're like, I have no idea. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not really as hard as it sounds. Like she just makes it sound hard.
Yeah.
Hey guys, like I need, and then we did a 5-minute podcast clip for our submission, and I was like, just talk like we're having a conversation, right?
Like, don't be weird.
Yeah, and then immediately like robotic, I'm like, it's just talk like you're talking to me, right? And so there is, and I don't think like going into first year university, I felt like I was so mature and so old. I thought I knew everything. And then I hit this point where I just like broke down.
Yeah.
I was away from my friends and family, and I was like, okay, I'm not so sure as I thought I was.
It's like is it the Dunning-Kruger effect? Is that what that's called? Where like,
I have no idea.
It's the more you know, the
more confident you are.
Yeah, like the less you know, the more confident you are, and then you hit a peak, and you're like, "Whoa, I know nothing," and then it's slowly like, well, I feel like that,
and it
hits you first year of university.
Yeah, and it's also as you go from like, say, I'm in my 5th year now, right? You're in your 2nd school now, right?
Yeah.
As you get older and you experience different things too, you realize that everybody's just fucking faking it.
Oh my God, yes.
Everybody's just getting by and doing what makes them happy or what they feel like is necessary. And so in first year, you think everybody has their shit together. You're like, oh my God, these older kids.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, so.
No, that was some of the best advice. Outside of being a school board trustee, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I also work for the provincial government for a politician, Lisa Bear, shout out. And some of the best advice I got from her before I worked from her and kind of during the election process, well, I like asked her something and she was like, Hudson, I have no fucking idea. I've never done this before. Like none of us know what's going on. Just figure it out. That's what I would do. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I get like, okay. And like, although that was kind of brutal and kind of like stepping on, like walking into a brick wall, it was also kind of like an eye-opening thing to just have her be like, I don't fucking know. Like, I'm just like you. Like, and I was like, okay, I don't know. Well, okay. You know what I mean?
Your helmet.
Yeah. That was kind of what it was like. It was like, suck it up, kid. Like, welcome to the world. None of us know what's going on. And it was a really like sobering moment.
I was going to say, it's nice that she said like, I don't know.
Yeah. And she was still willing to like hold my hand and help me as much as she can. But she was just like, I don't know, you know?
Everyone got imposter syndrome. I mean, like, imposter syndrome is such a big thing, too. I face imposter syndrome, and, like, you tell people, like, I'm just, like, I have the imposter mentality right now, and they're, like, same. Like, I feel the same way as you, and it's after you talk to people openly about it, you just realize how many other people around you, like, are all just faking it till they're making, like, they're just faking everything, because, like, hey, well, I don't know how to do it, might as well just figure it out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I might be an imposter, but
yeah. And a good way to, I'd say, escape imposter syndrome is, and I learned this in one of our classes. I don't remember which one, but they showed an interview where like they asked like a mom or someone like who she was, what she did, and she introduced herself, and she's like, I'm a mom. And after that, like, I don't remember what happened, but it was like, no, you're not just a mom. Like, you're a teacher as well. Like, you are a wife. You are this. You are, like, you are all of these things. You just need to remind yourself that you are all of these things, right? Like, you, even though you might not cook all the time anymore, like, you're still a chef.
Yeah,
like,
I guess. You
are still a chef. You are a politician. You are an assistant. You are a student. You are a son. Like, you are all of these things. You are a brother, right?
So you're so right. And it's so interesting because it really would depend on the group, what I would say. And I'm sure you too, like some rooms that you're in, you're a student.
Yeah.
Other rooms that you're in, you're an entrepreneur, or you're an entrepreneur. You're a bartender.
When I was bartending, did I talk about my podcast all the time? No. And then when I did bring it up to like regulars 3 months later, they're like, what? You're more intelligent than I thought. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not just boobs and lips.
Yeah, right?
But yeah.
So, that's hilarious.
It's true though. You're right. It's conditional based upon which room you are in and who is in that room.
Yeah. We're like, if I was in a room full of chefs, I would probably identify more with
I
being
was
a
on
chef.
Chopped. I was on Baker's.
Yeah, but if I was in a room of politicians, I would never think to bring up the fact that I was on Chopped. Yeah, exactly. And you're so right. Like the mama example, I'm sure some of those things, some of those descriptors, she wouldn't have even used to identify herself.
Yeah.
You know, and like some of the descriptors that you guys might use to like categorize me, I would not use to like, you know what? It's so It's interesting. Yeah.
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 I think, first of all, I want to thank you for coming on and like giving us all this insight into your life. But I think one of the most important things that I want to make sure we get across here is, where can people connect with you?
Oh, I thought it was going to be something else. That's also important.
Oh, what did? Oh,
well, we're getting to that. Oh, do you want to ask you, or do you want me to after?
You can ask it. You can ask. Okay, I'm glad that you remember. Okay.
Where can people find me?
Yeah.
They can find me on Instagram.
Everywhere. Tell us everything.
On all my things. You can find me on Instagram, Hudson.Campbell3. You can find me on Twitter, Hudson_Campbell. You can find me on Facebook, Hudson Campbell. You can find me on
Campbell,
TikTok,
like Campbell Scoop.
Hudson like the bay, and Campbell like the soup. You can find me, I don't know, on any of the things. I think I'm on Threads. I'm on LinkedIn.
I'm on Threads, yeah.
Oh, you don't have to. It's fine.
Yeah.
It kind of died a couple weeks after it started. So
Well,
yeah. Twitter is like horrible and just filled with Nazis, but it is the only place that, like, Threads will not replace. Like, you can't replace Twitter.
Yeah.
You know. They've
tried. It's so integrated, and like I use Twitter, but I know a lot of people who use it, and I'm sure if I created a Twitter for business or whatever, like it would end up.
Yes.
It would establish itself.
And it so seamlessly integrates with like Apple and like with all these ecosystems, with the Google ecosystem, with the Apple ecosystem. Like it's like Facebook. Like you can't avoid it almost. Yeah. Better or worse.
Well, yeah, it's in the sense like Facebook is the primary thing that a lot of people in the generation above us use.
Yeah.
Twitter is definitely a primary thing for like millennials, probably, right?
And the politicians love Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For better or worse. I cannot stand the app, but they love it. I'm trying to get better. We talked about it. I'm better at tweets.
Okay, well, you know what's, everyone who is listening, go and hold him accountable to posting content. Hold him accountable, because I know I'm going to be holding you accountable. I know Ashley's going to be holding you accouable. So
every time I post a video for our podcast or for my lashes, I'm going to be like, Hudson, have you posted a video yet?
Yeah. You're going to like tag me in it just as a reminder. No, for real. Please hold me accountable.
The big question, though, that we ask all of our podcast guests that come on to the podcast is, drumroll please. What does embodiment mean to you?
What does embodiment mean to me? I think it's just trying to embody your best self, no matter what that means to you. Kind of like what we talked about before, just making sure that at the end of every day, you've done something, like you filled up your cup at the end of the day. And I think just making sure that every day, whether at night, in the morning, like you set the intention to embody the person that you want to be every day. And I think, like, no matter which way you want to do it, whether you write it out or you do, what did we try to do yesterday, where you plant your feet on the ground and jiggle?
Yeah, somatic shaking.
And
jiggle.
Like, whatever it may be, I think just like setting an intention to be the person that you want to be that day is kind of what embodiment means.
Yeah, and it can change every day as long as you're doing something that you want to do.
Yeah, and that will look very different for me than it will for any of us on this call right now. You know what I mean? And anyone listening, like, we all are living completely different lives with different people and different priorities, and I think just trying to actualize some of those.